Hello, welcome to Marie's Scrappy Creations, where we sew the scraps of your life into beautiful creations. Today's tutorial is kind of a part two. A while back, one of my first tutorials was a Scrappy open wide zippered pouch. We took some scraps, we sewed them together, and we made a bag. Today, we're going to make the same bag. The only thing that we're going to do differently is we're going to put a pocket inside there, okay? It's not a difficult pocket. I know some of you are beginners, but I don't want you to be afraid of it. It's very simple. I'm going to show you how easy it really is. Now, I used a set of snaps. You don't have to use the snaps, as I tell you later on. There's many times I have not used a snap. A pocket is handy whether it has a snap or not. If you wanted to put a zipper pocket in, you could do that. I've done that a couple of different ways in this bag before. But anyway, I'm not going to show you fully, I'm not going to go through this bag step by step. I will link the original tutorial in the description box, as well as it will be available to click on at the end of the video. So if you haven't seen how this bag was made and you really want to try it, that's what I would do. Oops, I have a thread here I didn't pull, or I didn't cut. You didn't see that. This has been a very popular bag. I love the bag. It's been my favorite one to make and to gift. And a lot of the people on my Facebook page have made this bag and shown it. If you're not a member of my Facebook page, I'd invite you to come on over. You can find a link to it in the description box, or you can simply go to Facebook and type in Marie's Scrappy Creations. We would love to see you there. Everyone shares what they're working on. They do share if they've made one of my tutorials, but they also share other items too that they're sewing. We love to see it all. Anything scrappy, we love it. Also, while you're right here, if you haven't already, if you could click the like button, that really helps. As well as I wanted to mention one little thing while I'm here. According to my analytics, fully 49% of you who watch are not subscribed. So if you don't mind subscribing, that will let you know when I post a new video, which on Wednesdays I do. For a What's Up Wednesday, letting you know what's going on in my week. And on Sundays, there is the tutorials. Sometimes I pop in with a live stream. Sometimes I pop in with a little chat. You just never know when you're going to see me. But you won't see me unless you subscribe. Okay, so let's go get on with this tutorial on how to put a pocket into our favorite open wide zippered bag. Let's go do this. All right, so since we've made this before, and I used scraps before, and these are kind of scraps that I'm using. As you can see, the edge, this is going to be my liner. This is the outer. It's a gift, and so I'm doing it with the fabric that the recipient likes. The difference in this bag from the other one is going to be how to put a pocket. Now I'm going to use snaps. I have made them without snaps. I do it about half the time. So you do not need snaps, but I'm going to show you. Now I'm not going to run through everything on how to put this bag together because I will refer you to the other video. But I will tell you that, as I've said before, generally I just cut these. If I have a piece of fabric and it's this wide, then that's how wide it is. I don't get picky with the sizes. These measure 9.5 by 9 inches. So both the lining and the outer. I quilted the outer with some cotton batting, and I added some Pellon 911 fusible onto the back of these, and that's a featherweight. The only reason I'm doing that on the liner, besides to give it a little bit of body, is because I am using snaps. because this is my pocket piece, which I will explain in just a second. But anytime we use snaps, zippers, buttons, magnetic clasps, anything like that, you're going to want some stabilizer there. It helps hold your product on there. So this is our pocket piece, and I have cut this at 8.5 by 5.5. Yep, and there my kitty cat got near it. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that in half, and I always match my corners first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a small opening. I just need enough to turn this pocket out through. That's about just under 2 inches that I left open here. So I'm going to pin that around. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch around, and I'm going to leave this open. The other things I'm using is I have an 18-inch zipper, and if you're using the snaps, you're going to need an awl. Oh, I picked the right end. You're going to need something to make your hole with. I don't know if you can see this. I guess you couldn't up there, could you? Okay. So I have my snaps, my zipper, my lining, my outer pieces, and my pocket. And of course, I have my label that I use. And I have this marker. I guess this one's water erasable. But you could actually use a pen or pencil for this application because you're going to be making a mark and your snap will go over it so no one will see the mark that you're going to make. Okay, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew this, and then I will come back. So I have sewn the pocket. I left an opening right here. And before I turn that out, I am going to cut off my corners. Just make sure you don't cut into your sewing there. We don't need that disaster, do we? No, which one was my opening? Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to open this out, and then I'm going to take it and press it because it definitely needs a press. And I'll show you that. Then we're going to set the pocket aside once we've got it prepped because we really don't need it yet. I guess you could put it on your lining now. I tend to put my zipper on first. Okay, so I've used Sally here to straighten that all out. Just use whatever you have. Just be careful if you put something sharp. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the iron and I'm going to press this to get some nice, neat, you don't want this rounded. You want it right where it should be so everything's nice and straight. Okay. Okay, that's pressed. I'm going to get everything that I don't need right now out of my way. We'll go back to that in a few minutes. So right now, I am going to prep everything that I need for the bag. And as I said, I'm not going to go over everything that I do here in fine detail because I have a tutorial for that. I will link that in the description box as well as at the end of the video in the information cards. I think that's what they're called. I forget. But I'm putting the zipper right side down and I'm folding up that corner because that helps keep a neat zipper. If I could get that to hold on there. It's quite early in the morning and so I'm not at my prime. And I usually iron that little corner down. Anyway, I hold it in place with a pin or two to hold that. Everything has to be level. And I do that before I put my lining on there. I find I get a straight shot here. If you wanted to, I guess you could layer your lining at the same time. Whatever works for you. And 1 1/4 inches from the end. Going to mark that so I know to stop sewing my zipper at that point and pull it down out of my way. Take a piece of my lining. Make sure I get it the right way because my measurements are fairly close. So I am filming this and it's Father's Day weekend. All the dads out there, I hope you have a happy Father's Day. And I guess to all you single moms, happy Father's Day. I know that happens sometimes. Okay, so I am going to take you to the sewing machine when I sew this, but I'm not going to do it on a average, or I guess a real speed. I'm going to speed it up because there again, we've done this before in another tutorial, and I'm mostly showing you for the pocket about how easy it is to put a pocket on. So let's take this over to the sewing machine. I'm going to put my zipper foot on. I'm going to use a 2.5 millimeter stitch length, and I'm going to sew that zipper on. Okay, excuse me, I am done with the zipper. Now to straighten everything up and see what we have here. I need to finger press that for now because, as you know, the top stitching comes later. And I forgot to say that we need a 2-inch by 3-inch tab of fabric for our zipper tab. I forgot to put that out there. Okay, so now we're going to do the pocket. Okay, so this opens for me from left to right. I'm making it for a right-handed person. So I want the pocket to be right in here. So I'm going to use this piece. What I'm going to do is fold it in half and make a crease. So I have a mark where the halfway mark is of this. And I don't think anyone's going to measure it, but you know. Okay, so we take our piece of fabric that is our pocket. It's all sewn except for that little opening, but we don't need to worry about the opening. So fold your fabric in half and decide which way is up. It doesn't matter to me. And then I'm going to place my fold, and I bring that down just a bit. Let me see how much that is. That's about 1 1/4 inches from the top, because remember, I'm going to be cutting the squares out of the corner to box the corners. So you don't want to have it too low, and if your pocket's wider, that could get in the way. Excuse me. So I'm going to pin this in place, and I'm going to sew it. I'm going to back tack a couple of times here, and I'm going to sew close to the edge, and that's going to close up the opening that I have. Now, because I'm using these tags that I have, I'm going to put this in the seam of the pocket. Actually, I'm going to press that down. I can't remember why I had folded that like I did for that one, but I'm not going to leave it that way. They say not to iron this silky stuff, but You saw me do it and it didn't hurt too much. All right, so I'm just going to leave that in the seam like so. Hold that in place. For the rest of the bag, I'm going to speed it along. I'll let you see me sew the pocket in real time, and then I'm going to speed it up because, as I said, there's another tutorial that will show you exactly how to do. If you haven't done this bag yet, I do have a tutorial for it. So I will be stitching, back tacking, sewing along the edge, and I'm going to use a 1.8 stitch length. I want a tiny length to hold that on there, okay? And then when I come back, we're going to do the snap before we do the rest of the bag. Okay, so this is all sewn. So the next part is the snap, if you choose to put one on. I didn't plan on putting one on this, but because I wanted to show you how they go on, in case you don't know, I thought I would show you. Okay, so let's see. I have my snap set. Oh, just dropped a snap, of course. Okay, I have a new snap piece. So I'm going to measure the pocket for the center, and then I'm going to make my mark. So this is just about 5 inches. So I'm going to take my marker, and like I said, it doesn't matter if you use a pencil or a pen because nobody's going to see this. And I'm going to come down just a little bit and make my mark if I can see it. I guess maybe I should have used a pen, but I think I can see that well enough. And then carefully take your poker, your awl. You're going to go through both layers like this. And I usually turn it a couple of times there, wiggle it around. And these snap sets aren't hard to use. I didn't have one that was exactly the right color, but I don't worry about the little things like that. All right, we'll get the snap on here, and then the rest of the bag can come together. Gotta get that through there. See, I have that fusible interfacing in there, so that has to poke through that. So I guess I could have poked it with the awl a little bit more than what I did. But that's okay, because it worked. Use my little tool. Give it a good push. Didn't snip my threads. Okay, and now we need the snap on the other side. This one's easy to see. Poke through there. That one came right through. This can sometimes, depending on where on your bag this is, it can be kind of tricky to get all your fabric caught up there. But anyway, give that a little push. And there's my snap. Righty. Move those items out of the way. And now I am going to continue with the rest of the bag. And as I said, I'm going to put this on a quick speed because I've already made a tutorial doing this bag. So the bag is completed except for I have to sew the hole in the bottom closed, which I will take that over to the iron and I will press out the seam and I will sew that. And that should cover up the white. Whoops, I guess I ought to zoom back out. I apologize. This white line from the fabric is going to get caught up in the seam, so that's not even going to show once I get that in there. But that's how the pocket looks on the inside of the bag. Nice and neat. And they're not, as you can see, they're not difficult to do. You don't have to do the snap. You could. I've also done an inset zipper pocket, which I could show you at another time if you want. I have also made them with handles. But the handles to me don't seem necessary because of having that piece of thread stuck to my zipper. Because we have a zipper to hold on to, I really don't feel that this bag necessarily needs a handle, but I have done it. I have put a handle on there, a little strap, and it's completely doable. So I hope you liked seeing how the pocket goes in. And as you see, these are very neat zippers. This goes right to the end. See? And there's no fold or bend. See, that drives me crazy in a zipper. If I see that bent corner, I don't care for that. I've done it before. And I know that sometimes, depending on the type of bag you make, that happens. I try to avoid it if at all possible, because there again, it just drives me crazy to see those bent corners. So that's one of my favorite things about this open wide zippered pouch. And as you can see, between the cotton batting and the Pellon 911, that's a pretty firm bag. It's still squishable, but it stands up on its own. So that passes the test for me. I hope you liked the tutorial, and I'm not sure what I'll be back with next week, but we're going to call the creative word of the day today bag. Just simply bag. So I will see you guys on Wednesday. If not before, I might pop in. I think I want to pop in on either a live or just a chatty video just to catch you guys up. So you stay tuned. And until next time, you take care, dig into that scrap pile, and be sure to be kind out there. The world needs more of that. Sprinkle it everywhere. See you all soon.